to the Save Our Stories podcast. I am your host, Daylani, and today I'm here with face I have not seen in 4 to 5 years. I'm here with the newest principal for Christ the King. I'm here with Katie Olson. How do you feel today?
I'm feeling great, Delani. We are looking forward to parent teacher conferences tomorrow, and it's nice to reconnect with you.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Before Christ the King, what was life like? You know, what got you into
hmm
education? Because I read through some of your facts. I wanted to do some research. You started doing your usual field is Catholic school educator. And I
Yes,
guess my first question to be was that plan?
that's a really great question. So, while I was in college, I started volunteering at different schools and found out how much I loved being a part of schools and being with youth. And so, after college, I decided to do a teaching program and it was based in Chicago. So I moved to Chicago and I became a teacher. And I became a teacher at the Catholic school called St. Sabina. And I was there for 6 years and loved being in the classroom and loved teaching. And then an opportunity opened up for me to become a principal of another Catholic elementary school called Our Lady of Charity. At that time, a few years into my role there, we actually had Christ the King students as student workers. So
Mm-hmm.
that was one of the work study placement sites at Our Lady of Charity. And I got to know the Christ the King students there and got to know more of the community. So then a role opened up here to become an assistant principal at Christ the King. And I loved the community so much I wanted to change and come over here. I was an assistant principal here for about 6 years, and then another opportunity came for me to become principal, and so I've been principal for around 4 years now.
Um, you had just talked about your college experience. I want to elaborate on that. The first part of the question to be was what was your major and was it intended? And the second thing was, as someone who was in that major, what were some challenges and what were some successes?
So when I was in college, I majored in history and political science, government. I also minored in French
Mm,
language. My original intent and goal was after college to go to law school and to pursue a legal career. That changed once I started working in schools. I found out that I loved being in school. So that was not my original intention, but it was a love that was cultivated over time. In college, I really enjoyed being a history and political science major because I was able to read, write, analyze, look at sources, all skills that I use to this day. I would say the most challenging part was having so many papers to write, maybe
mm,
having multiple deadlines at the same time. But that was also a blessing because it really taught me how to manage multiple projects and multiple things happening at once. The best part about it was I really love learning. I like reading and researching, so that was really a joy.
that's fantastic. Uh, One more college-based question before we move on. Because I also take a lot of writing classes. My
Mm-hmm.
major is communications and new media, and
Yeah.
I'm also doing like business classes, marketing. What tips do you have, writing wise, for college students and even high
Mm-hmm.
school students?
I would say the most important thing is to start with a plan. So, to organize yourself, organize your sources, create an outline for the writing, and then go from there. So, I found for me what worked was to um, read through my sources, then to organize them into buckets of different themes and topics, create a thorough outline, and then plug everything in while I was
Mhm.
writing.
Okay. So, as you said before, you started at South Sabina. From South Sabina, Christ the King found you. How was your first year going into Christ the King? What were your pre-initiation thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
And after that year, how did you feel about the school?
Well, I would say I came in really excited to be a part of the community because I already know a few students from having been work study students at my previous school.
Mhm.
And I knew a few people that worked here, like our president, Mr. Martin. We had worked previously together at another school. So I didn't come in nervous at all because I already felt like I knew the community and had some connections here. I was just open to learning and open to growing. That was my first time in a high school. I had previously been in elementary and middle schools. And so it was just being open to being in that new environment.
Mm.
Throughout my first year here, I felt really welcomed. We have such a wonderful student community here, such great staff here, and I felt really at home.
As a staff member, how important is it to build community with the students?
I think it's essential. I think it's really important for me first to create a space where students feel safe and loved and cared for and heard. Because without those basic foundations, I don't think anything else can happen. If you don't feel those things, it would be impossible to truly flourish, learn, and grow.
Mm.
And so I think it's really important to establish a community of respect and care so that students can feel free to be their best selves and to learn and to really explore who they are um, as growing adults.
Mm. Um, Last question before we take a break. In your time here as a Christ the King staff, have you ever had a moment where a student would come in where they don't feel like themselves, or in some
Mhm.
situation where something at home or something outside their life is going on, and you would have to come in as basically their school guardian, their school parent? Has that ever happened?
I would say as a school community, we work really hard to support students to be most successful. So
Mm.
there are, of course, days where people are having bad days or people are, maybe other things happening outside. So the best thing we can do is create a consistent predictable, safe space so that although we can't control anything outside
Mm-hmm.
of these walls, at least when they're here, students feel cared for and they feel like they can learn.
Because I would say, as a Christ the King student, I always felt home. It felt so as a home.
Mm.
And nothing against like what's happening like outside my life, but I have had times where those bad days would come,
Mhm.
and the staff and the students would come in, and they would basically feel that hole inside me that would just that was darker a couple of days ago. So I would say even when I had my bad days, coming to Christ the King has definitely healed those wounds.
That is means so much to me to hear, and that's really our goal is that we truly want to be like a community where people feel cared for and that they feel like they can be themselves and they're
Mhm.
seen for their gifts and their talents. And you've always been such a wonderful member of our community and such a great, not only a student, but a great person here. And have always been so open and kind and caring to others.
Thank you, I appreciate it. As you know already, I was graduating in 2020. Ooh. Yeah, let's start right there.
That was a tough
That was a
time.
very tough time. Because for me, I remember everything went down in February. I remember the first 2 weeks. Um, Shout out to one of my old classmates, Shamarius, I think his name was. I'm so sorry if I forgot your name, my brother. But he literally warned us for like a good 2 weeks about the whole pandemic, and we
Mhm.
definitely didn't listen. And then that second week happened. Mind you, this was volleyball season. And they told us to all come home. 2 weeks passed. We like, oh, this is cool. Then we get the whole call. It's like, y'all gotta stay home.
Yeah.
As a staff, what was your initial reaction, and how did you guys plan for that? Knowing that
Mm-mm.
February and then on in, you guys got to plan for incoming students. You got to plan for the sophomores. You got to plan for the juniors to become seniors, and then you got to plan for the seniors to become college students. Knowing that a lot of that stuff that the seniors were supposed to have
Yeah.
didn't get to happen.
Yeah, so much was shifting during that time period. It was something you we tried our best but couldn't really plan for because something like this had never happened before
Mm-hmm.
and things were changing so quickly. So just like you thought it was just going to be 2 weeks, so did we,
Yeah.
right? Everybody thought, okay, 2 weeks will come back and things will keep going as normal, but it really turned into almost like full year or 2 years before things became fully normal. And so it did require a lot of different meetings, a lot of creativity, a lot of transition and new learning, and learning to teach on Zoom and learning to try to celebrate big moments like graduation.
Yeah.
But at that time, there was so much going on in terms of what would be safe for people to participate
Mm-hmm.
in. And so it was just not all decisions, I would say, were probably the best ones in hindsight, but it was trying to make the best decision using the limited knowledge you had at the time.
I would say you guys did a pretty good job when it comes to thinking, in the time well being. Cause not gonna lie to you, I have fun with my classes during the Zoom
Good.
call. I graduated, so that
Yes,
shows up.
yeah.
Um, didn't really like that my graduation was a glorified picture day, but we did have
Mm-hmm.
we had the parade, so
Yes.
that kind of evens it out.
That car parade was
That
fun.
was fun. And then I think, no, I can tell you that. I can tell what we did. Speaking of, what was your guys' reaction? What was your reaction when you were told, okay, we've got the vaccine, now we can do hybrid,
Mm-hmm.
and then on top of that, okay, we can stop from hybrid. We're back. So how was
Yes.
that reaction?
Oh, I think I was just really excited. I think by that point, it the pandemic had become so isolating, and
Mm-hmm.
so I think everybody was really happy, at least on the staff side, to come back to have. There's nothing like teaching face to face, and
Ooh, I have I failed my first year of college. A lot
yeah,
of people know about this. I always tell any students that I go in with, I failed my first week of Zoom college because I'm not used to being taught, on a computer or anything like that. I'm a little better with it now because I got online classes because
yeah.
my bachelor, but those first 2 3 semesters it was bad because I just couldn't stay focused.
Mm-hmm.
So when we got into hybrid classes, I was so excited because it's like, okay, now I can actually prove
Yeah.
that whoever that was in the pandemic wasn't me.
That's right. That's right. Because you know the gifts, the intelligence that you bring. And I think that was a really common experience is that people weren't able to flourish in the
Mm,
ways that they knew they could, given the constraints of
right,
online and
because you was confined to your home.
right,
So
right. And
that
I think so much of school, the importance of school, is also learning how to be in a community and that social aspect and the interpersonal skills and learning how to be in community with other people that was missing when everybody was at home.
and back to the community thing. When I was in classes while you were going on, you were the go to person. You were the fun one. I would say of all like the higher up staffs who were during the time. Shout out Dean Bolin. I'm
Oh,
surprised you let us
yeah.
slide with the whole, you would go into the stage and we used to bully you and stuff like that. Not bully, but like, we used to boo you. But I would
He
say
was good natured.
he definitely tolerated us.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Miss Payne as well.
Yeah.
Um, but you were definitely like the one we went to when it came to like our situations or like, oh, we got this new TikTok thing that we want to do and we want to do dancing with you and like all types of handshakes. So how was it just like not even having to, being prepared, but to just join our culture?
Yeah, I would say I always felt so welcome here. So everybody's so kind. I think that's one of the greatest things about the Kaisikan community is that people really just accept you for who you are. And I think for everybody, people just want somebody that's authentic and themselves. And I've always appreciated just how like caring and kind everybody is. And so I felt really welcomed here. And I always had a lot of laughs. It
Yeah,
was
I would say we definitely was fun. I ain't
yes.
gonna lie to you. Class 2020 was the funniest class. Class
It was a
2020.
great class for sure.
How was it being a part of Christ the King sports? What was your favorite sports moment?
I think that one of my favorite sports moments happened this past year. Our basketball team was able to make it to state, and
Mm.
so we were able to cancel school for the day, take all of the buses down, have the cheerleaders go down. And I loved it so much because it brought up so much school pride and school spirit, and it really took everybody. It was not only the players, it was the cheerleaders, it was the coaches, the parents, the teachers. Everybody was so working together for a goal.
Mm. Speaking of changes, just like the state
Mm-hmm.
and the pandemic, there's been a lot of drastic changes
Yeah.
with Chrysler King post pandemic. Um, the parking lot,
Mm-hmm.
fantastic
We
change by the
now,
way.
yes, we now have parking.
Um, once again, shout out to Mod. He's been working here as
Yes.
a DJ with the studio. Like he does a podcast, and I mean, y'all football team is watchable now.
Mm-hmm.
Basketball team always gonna be watchable because y'all always get really good players. And then is that Chicago? What's the school right by
Yeah,
it?
right next to Chicago Jesuit
Yeah,
Academy.
Chicago
They've
Jesuit.
expanded.
We in the room that's like by the principal's office. So outside there's a new building that basically extends the original building.
Mm-hmm.
Just talk about like how all this transpired.
Yeah. Um, I think a couple of like big changes that took place was knowing and understanding the new technology and where the world was going. We really transformed a space upstairs into an innovation center and a maker space and brought in a
Mm-hmm.
recording studio. And so it's been wonderful having alums like Ahmad come in and teach our students how to make music and how to record. With the makerspace, we now have 3D printers and laser cutters and poster machines, and students can print T-shirts and make mugs, and it's really leaning into the entrepreneurial spirit and the interest of the students. So that's been a really exciting change. I think we've also really leaned into student voice and student choice. And so seniors now are able to choose electives, and we really listen to students in terms of integrating fun activities and events. One thing that's really fun we do in the spring is bring a roller skating rink here and transform the gym into a roller
Oh,
skating
okay.
party. So really listening to what students want, because school should also, in addition to be a place of learning, be a place of innovation and a place of fun. um, and then in addition, working in partnership with our neighbor Chicago Jesuit
Mm-hmm.
Academy through the expansion, we now have a beautiful courtyard that we're able to have outdoor experiences and take students to get some fresh air outside and just continue to build bonds of community in that way. Another exciting development in our work study program that happened this year was beginning a pilot for CNA certification. So we have
Okay.
a group of juniors who are becoming CNAs in the nursing field, and then they'll be placed in jobs at hospitals. So that really came out of an interest of students. We've also really expanded our advanced placement classes, our honors level classes, and we have a dual
We can
enrollment.
break now because I didn't know
Okay,
that was gonna happen.
it's just the it's a motion sensor. Okay.
I
Um,
don't feel like
yes. So yeah, we really expanded our advanced placement classes, our honors level sections, and we even have a partnership with Loyola University for dual credit.
it. Okay. I ain't gonna lie to you. The light turning out just threw off my
Yeah, I
question.
know.
um. Okay, I got it. Chrysler King has been one of the few high schools to have a 100% college acceptance
Mm-hmm.
rate, and it's still going. I want to say
Yeah.
15 years of
Mm-hmm.
100% acceptance rate. How does it feel to be a part of that lineage of staff being able to, like you said, be able to incorporate fun and education and putting the students in the mindset like high school is a good start, but it's not the finish.
That's right. And it's, I think, really a testament of the hard work of our students. There's a lot to juggle as a Christ the King student. You have really challenging classes, you have the work study program, And to be able to do all of those things, I think puts our students at such an advantage for the
Mhm.
next phase of their life. And so I'm so proud of the students to always achieve that 100% college acceptance because it gives them so many options for their future. And that's what we want to do is just set
Right.
students up to have agency and choices for their next step.
Um, I mean, I'm an alumni, and this is my thanks to you. Um, we have other alumni who have come back to work. How does it
Mm-hmm.
feel knowing that even as us as alumni, we're gonna come and go? We always do something to bring back to Christ the King.
Yeah, it's been wonderful to have alumni as coworkers now and work in the building, or to see alumni at career day and come back and volunteer and share their professions with our students and be an inspiration for our students. It's always great when we have alumni events. I know you come back for alumni events, and
Mm-hmm.
just to hear everybody's stories and always feeling like if you graduate or you attend Christ the King, you're always a part of the Christ the King community.
Mm-hmm.
You're always welcome here. You're always important to us. And so it's really great to see so many alumni still connected.
Cool. Um, what time is it? What time is it? I'm on the 4:03. I got time. Do you have time for a couple questions?
Sure.
Okay. Uh, how was it? How was that transition from assistant principal to principal? Because I know when I got news when you became
Mm-hmm.
principal, I was excited. I was astounded because I'm like, you have a heart of gold, and to see that being shown with the promotion and then coming back and seeing you as a principal, it kind of warmed my
Oh,
heart. So
thank
how
you.
was it, being told that you were going to be assigned a new principal? We even talk about
Yeah.
your time as an intern. How does it called?
Yeah, interim
Yeah,
principal.
intern
Yeah.
principal. So.
Um, I always, my faith is really important to me, and I really believe that if God opens up an opportunity, then God will give the strength
Mm,
to do it. And so I just felt like it wasn't something that I was looking for. It really transpired, and it was really a blessing. And I really just opened myself to say, okay, God, if you're calling me to this, I know that I'll be able to do it and do your work, and you'll give me the strength to do it. So, really just leaning in trust that our path is always for our good. And
mm,
um, yeah, I try to be a really a servant leader and to see how can I help others and how can I help the community. So again, I just love our community here so much. So I felt really honored to be able to be a leader here.
I don't think I've never asked anybody this, but Christ the King does a good job with incorporating everyday life, education with religion,
Mm-hmm.
with us celebrating the usual holidays, but also us having was it monthly
Right,
services.
right.
So and a lot of schools don't really do that. So how does it feel, being able to incorporate religion within school without it being forced?
Right. I think our goal is really to help students just explore their relationship with God and
Mm-hmm.
really think about those big questions about who am I? Who is God? What is my purpose? And to give that space and that freedom to have those deep conversations is really a privilege. And so it feels great that we can talk about God. We went back to like when students are having a hard day to say, can we pray together?
Mm-hmm.
Or in celebrating great moments to really give glory to God in that.
Amen. So we are going into the latter half. So I have uh 2 3 more questions left. Um, I guess we can get to the promotional part. How would people be able to reach Christ the King if they were
Yeah,
looking to not only put their children in the school but also would like to work here?
great. The first best thing to do would be to go to our website, which is ctkjesuit.org. We have employment opportunities there. We have our application for next school year, which is open now. We're going to have an info session. We do shadow days. So all that information can be found on our website. That's probably
Okay.
the best place.
Okay. And any tips, any letters for the students that you want to say?
I would say keep believing in your gifts and believing that you are where you're supposed to be, and really thinking about what is your purpose in life and how can you serve others through that purpose.
Cool. I like that. Um, Thank you so much
Thank
for spending the
you.
time to talk about Christ the King, talk about your history, talk about our history. Um,
Well, I'll say I'm so proud of you to see the way that you're sharing your gifts with others, and you're doing so in such a thoughtful way. And that's no surprise to me because you've always been somebody that freely shared their gifts. So it's really been a blessing today.
Honestly, I did all this because I was bored. I ain't gonna lie to you. All this really happened because I was bored.
Well, you're doing a great job with
Thank you so
it.
much. This has been the Save Our Stories podcast. This has been your host. This has been my guest. Godspeed and God bless. Shalom.